Hey everybody, Patrick here with RAV4. It is November 19th, 2012, and this 468 has seen some That's right guys, this 468 right here has been through hell. Now if you haven't seen it yet, go to our YouTube channel and check out our video of the 468 torture test. You will not believe what this thing can handle. Now I'm going to go over some of the damages for you. Now obviously this car buttstock, when it got ran over, got extremely scratched up, but it's still in one piece. Air tank's perfectly fine. The rear embus, the Magpul backup sight, actually snapped off. It's being held on right now by a piece of wire that was wrapped around it and twisted on. Otherwise it would be up and flinging up. You can see in the video when Omar goes and picks it up how it's actually broken from getting run over. Let's see, this Troy handguard right here is twisted, and it used to be circular, but now it's more of an oval from when it got run over. The tire actually smashed this handguard into an oval, and it's not quite aligned correctly. I don't know if you guys can see from there, but this Magpul AFG on here, it's actually a little bit canted off to the side instead of being in line with the mag well. Now those damages, as far as the embus and the Troy handguard, I'm gonna put those ones on Troy and Magpul. Actually, we don't make that product, so maybe they should go back to the drawing board, because the 468 is perfectly fine. It's a little ugly. Well, I think it's beautiful, but it's a little bit scratched up. The finish on it definitely got marred up by that shotgun, as well as the tires scratched it into some gravel on the opposite side. But I mean, the magwell is still functioning perfectly well. The gun fired perfectly. As you can see, Omar picked it up right afterwards and shot it a few times to prove that. The trigger system here, the pistol grip definitely has some scratches on it, but it's in one piece, no cracks or anything. Just basically cosmetic damage to that. But yeah, overall everything's working on it. We've been testing it. This actually went out to a private MagFed game. It was used by Savoy 6 out of SC Village all day long, and it definitely performed for them. Luckily we're using a steel barrel. Now if you were to try to reproduce that test with an aluminum barrel, when this handguard got crimped, it was stopped by the steel barrel. If this was aluminum, I believe that the barrel as well would be more of an oval, if not flat. So if you're going to try to recreate that, keep that in mind. This has a solid steel birdcage flash hider as well as a barrel. Now for those of you who are curious, Michael Ritz, what the stock 468 package is going to look like, here it is right here. Now this is going to be around the same cost as the Gen 7. I'm going to go over all the accessories for you. First of all, we got a birdcage muzzle brake attached to a 12-inch barrel. It's got a standard A-frame sight in front of a standard carbine style handguard. Now this one here has the heat shields inside. This has a carry handle and a 13 CI air and stock system with a black car stock, okay, and it's going to come with standard 20 round T68 magazines. Now this one is actually a little bit different than what the stock one's going to come with, because the muzzle brake, barrel, and A-frame front sight are actually steel on this. But for those of you watching from home, this is exactly how the stock one's going to look, although this one is slightly more premium. Now you're going to be able to customize this just as much as a Gen 7 or a real rifle for that matter, because the 468 has this delta ring here that's going to be functional with any kind of real M4 style handguards, okay? And that includes floating handguards like the Troy setup to my right. Also, we have all the buttstock options with the solid remote line adapter. Be sure to get the mil-spec one if you're going to use something like a Magpul CTS stock or something like that. That one has the same dimensions as an M4 buffer tube, so you'll be able to use your buttstocks on that. And of course, all the Picatinny rails on the top handguard, or any of the rail systems we have, like the RIS handguard, those are mil-spec as well, so they'll accept all of your accessories, anything from a vertical grip to a flashlight, optics, anything like that. So you'll be able to deck this out any way you want, and when you order it, you do not have to have these come with it. You'll be able to customize your package so that you don't have any extra parts laying around that you don't need or didn't want to pay for. Alright guys, time for some paintball news and industry trends. It looks like Planet Eclipse has a big heart. They're given to the USO. For those of you who aren't familiar with the USO, they're an organization that helps out active duty and veteran status U.S. citizens. Now, my experience in the service with the USO was in airports. They often have suites and large airports where veterans can go. You can walk in, just show your ID card and go in there, and they have couches and stuff for you to lay around. It was nice. You end up flying a lot in the military, you know, going to Germany, going to Kuwait, going all these places. So it was nice to have a place to go. I know they have a lot of other charities as well. I think I got a care package or two from the USO while I was over there. Nice stuff, you know, amenities like toiletries and whatever. You don't want to run out of deodorant in Iraq. So they're definitely a really good charity to give to. So Planet Eclipse, props to you. Very cool. Definitely want to give back to those people who provide for us the safety that we enjoy. Dye Precision just bought ProTech from Vans. That's right, Dye Precision now owns ProTech, the makers of a lot of different equipment, but probably most famous for their helmets. Now, I'd never heard about a ProTech helmet before the movie Black Hawk Down came out. A lot of those Delta Force operators that you see wearing those black helmets, those were actually ProTech helmets. Now, whether real operators in the field use those or not, I'm not sure. I was never Delta Force or anything of that matter, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, but it definitely looked really cool, and I see a lot of paintball players wearing those, whether it's because you know, they're mimicking what they see as far as, you know, Special Forces operators and, you know, movies, video games and stuff like that, or because they're just tired of getting shot in the dome. Either way, I see a lot of ProTechs out there on the field, so Dye, definitely a good purchase from them, and I'm sure that they'll work with the ProTech team to come out with some really gnarly looking stuff. Dye stuff always looks really squared away. In Cape Town, South Africa, they've got a baboon problem, and citizens are turning to paintball guns for help. Apparently, the electric fences aren't doing enough to keep the baboons out of the trash and away from their pets and terrorizing their children. So they've bought a bunch of markers so they can start shooting the animals to discourage them from being around. Now, officials say that this is not cruel punishment for the animal because the only other way to get rid of them is, unfortunately, to get rid of them. So they're doing the baboons a favor by letting them know that this is not a cool place to hang out. So if you're in Cape Town and you've got a monkey problem, get yourself a new 468 and get a little trigger happy. This week's tactical tip is brought to you by Billy Van Campos, who suggested it on our Facebook page, and it is tactical hand signals. Now for this one, I actually had to go look it up. I've got a chart ahead of me of a cool looking little operator dude doing the hand signals, and hopefully none of these get, you know, too suggestive, but here I'm going to go over them for you right now. Alright guys, that was your tactical hand signals. Now I had to look these up. I actually didn't know this. I wasn't SEAL Team 6 or anything. I didn't receive this class. We mostly just kind of made frustrated hand signals at each other if it was too loud to hear each other talk or if we were too deaf. But some of these are actually pretty useful, mostly the number system. I mean, how do you do 9 on one hand? You know, I had no idea, but apparently it's this. So very good to know, especially if you're in a situation like I said, maybe you're too far away, you don't have a radio or something, and you gotta kind of see what they're doing, it's too loud, or maybe you're deaf, or maybe you need to be quiet, maybe you don't want to alert anybody to your position. So definitely very interesting. Thank you, Billy, for the idea, and if there's anything you'd like to see in our weekly tactical tip, just go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/rap4usa, and let me know. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Now remember, Monday Night Paintball is your show. We make it out of the content generated from our Facebook page. So if there's anything you'd like to see in next week's episode, just go to facebook.com/rap4usa and let us know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.